Oladipo, who is the reigning two-time champion.
Strange pauses. Oh. Odd movements. And moments that feel off.
Oh my God. They better get up or they're gonna hit the power lines.
These unsettling glitches will make you question what's real and what's not.
Rika.
Tag along to know the darker side of the creepy world we live in. Is this Hogwarts lesson 101 going in the video, or the camera captured something else? I mean, look, 2 of the students just levitated in midair during the class, while the rest of the class froze completely, as if someone had pressed pause on reality. For a few seconds, everything remained still. Then, just as suddenly, everything snapped back to normal. The students were confused, unsure of what had just happened. Rumors suggested that it was a supernatural force at play, and looking at the video, I think so too. Restaurant freeze. Some friends were having fun at a restaurant. One of them, a girl, was laughing when she suddenly froze, mid-laugh, completely still. Her friends called her name, but she didn't react.
Rika.
After a few seconds, she was back to normal, as if nothing had happened. She might have been under the control of something unseen. Her friends laughed it off at the moment, but deep down, they thought about taking her to a priest. What if it happened again?
Rika.
Invisible bicycle. People at a park got the shock of their lives when they saw a lady riding an invisible bike. She sat on a seat, pedaling smoothly, but there was no bike, just empty air beneath her. Her legs moved naturally, as if she were on a real bicycle, yet nothing was holding her up. She didn't seem bothered, continuing her ride as if moving through a world only she could see. No one could explain it, but those who witnessed it never forgot that eerie sight. Frozen sheep. On July 23rd, in Troutbeck, UK, an unsettling sight unfolded. A field full of sheep stood eerily still, not a single one moving. It was as if time had stopped just for them. A visitor staying at a holiday cottage noticed this strange scene and kept watching. It felt unnatural, like some unseen force had cast a spell over them. It said that it was an ancient curse, or strange energies running through the land. A similar event was reported in San Diego, near Mission Valley. 2 boys saw goats and sheep on the roadside, not grazing, just standing unnaturally still, and after a while, they moved again, as if nothing had happened.
Like the San Diego Zoo, but even then, right? Like
strong boys.
Oh my God. They better get up or they're gonna hit the power lines.
Superman in movies might seem ordinary once you witness this. One local saw 2 boys holding a giant car with a single hand. No, not a toy car, but a real one. They were walking so easily as if they were used to it. They couldn't be normal humans, because no one can do that. The thought that crossed the locals' minds was that they might be alien entities dressed in human appearance, not wanting to be prominent. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. White eyes. During a show, famous German comedian Carolyn Kebekus had viewers spotting something that gave them goosebumps. Everything seemed normal until, for a brief moment, her eyes changed. They became completely white, and her lenses shifted, giving her a look almost like a reptile. The experts declared it a camera glitch, but many believed otherwise. Rumors suggested that she might actually belong to a reptilian species, or perhaps even be a lizard in disguise. Ghost shadow. A person was walking down the roadside when he spotted an empty bench and thought to take a break, but something made him pause. He noticed that while the bench itself was empty, the wall behind it cast a shadow, one that showed someone sitting on the bench. The shadow didn't match reality. It looked as though a ghostly figure was occupying the seat. It seemed like the bench was haunted. Feeling uneasy, the person left, but the feeling of being followed stayed, as if whatever was on the bench was now chasing him. Time pause.
Why is she frozen?
A pedestrian was walking down the street when an odd sight made him stop. No, it wasn't traffic, but something else. He saw a woman walking, but then she suddenly froze mid-step, like time had paused just for her. Before he could process it, she started walking again, as if nothing had happened.
Why is she frozen?
It seemed as though she had briefly stepped into a dimension where time flows differently, or at least, that's what it looked like. Shifting eyes. A Russian woman, Zhana, was giving an interview when a bizarre thing happened. Her eyes changed, not just the color, but the lenses shifted as well. This wasn't an isolated incident. The internet is filled with videos of her where her eyes continuously change color. Those who witnessed it were convinced that she might be an alien, as they are said to have such eyes. Others believe she could be a reptile or alien entity. What's your take on this? Walking water. At a pool party, everything was going fine until something bizarre happened. A dog suddenly appeared, running over the surface of the pool without sinking. It ran across the water like it was solid ground, its paws barely splashing the water. People watched in stunned silence, unable to process what they were seeing. The dog didn't slow down, just kept running, as if the water was no different from solid earth. Some whispered it was a glitch in reality, while others believed the dog wasn't real, but a spirit crossing between worlds. Green freeze.
But it's been a heck of a ride, to be honest.
During a post-game interview after Game 2 of the NBA playoffs, Draymond Green and his teammate were talking. While his fellow player continued discussing the game, Draymond was completely still, like a statue. His face remained expressionless, as though time had paused just for him. After a few seconds, he returned to normal. Those watching couldn't shake the feeling that they had witnessed a glitch in reality, as if someone had pressed pause on a moment that wasn't meant to stop.
But it's been a heck of a ride. Yeah, I was a little down.
Cycling double. On October 8th, 2023, a cyclist was riding through a stadium when she witnessed something bizarre. A boy on a bicycle passed by her. Just a few seconds later, the exact same boy, same face, same clothes, rode past again. It was impossible. There was no way he could have circled back that fast. They could have been twins, but the eerie atmosphere made the cyclist think otherwise. She believed she recorded a glitch in the Matrix. Clinton pause. An old video resurfaced, showing a creepy moment from the 1990s Bush Clinton presidential campaign. It showed Bill Clinton in his mid-makeup session, but not moving a single bone. His face stiff, eyes unblinking. It was as if time had stopped for him. The makeup artist kept working, while Clinton remained still, like a puppet awaiting command. Seemed like something far stranger was at play. According to the majority of the people who saw the video, Bill Clinton was probably a reptilian who didn't do anything by his own free will. Reality shift. In a cafe, a waiter stood near the glass wall, watching a family standing near a red car. He stepped outside to check, but the family was gone, and the red car had turned blue. His heart raced. He might have seen a glimpse of the past or future. It looked like the glass wall was a portal, showing another reality. Moving ladder. In May 2013, a clip surfaced online and quickly caught attention. It showed a stepladder moving on its own in a driveway. Viewers were convinced it might have been paranormal. How else could it move without anyone touching it? A similar sighting happened in Kerala, India. A ladder was seen shifting by itself, and locals believed it was possessed by the spirit of a man who had fallen from it and later passed away. The exact location was kept secret, adding to the mystery. Sightings like this have been reported in different places, leaving people wondering if objects can really hold energy from the past. Statue dogs. In the grassy landscape of England, a couple saw a strange thing. A group of dogs was frozen in place, not moving at all. One dog's tail was even curved in midair, as if it was caught in a moment of motion. Other things around them continued moving, but the dogs remained still. After a while, a bird ran over them, and suddenly, the dogs started moving again. The couple shared the footage online, and people started to indicate that the dogs were under evil control. A peering dog. A video from Chile went viral, showing two cars racing down an empty road. As they sped past the cameraman, a dog suddenly appeared, standing in the middle of the track. If the dog had been there from the start, it was unbelievable that both cars managed to avoid it. Witnesses thought it might have jumped from a hidden spot, or believed it could have been teleported. But there could be more to it. Strange moments like these keep reminding us that not everything we see can be easily explained. Unmoving walk. A local spotted something that made no sense. A cat walking on the roadside, but not moving forward. Its legs kept moving, yet it stayed in the same spot, as if a hidden power was holding it back. The pavement beneath seemed normal. The sight felt anything but. It might have been trapped by an invisible force or a ghostly presence. The local watched in disbelief, but it is said when he glanced away for just a second and looked back, the cat was gone. No trace of it anywhere. Had he witnessed a sight beyond reality, or was the cat never really there to begin with? Host freeze. A live broadcast captured an American host during a show as his microphone was being adjusted. Suddenly, he froze, staring straight ahead, not even blinking. His posture was stiff, and he appeared almost robotic. The audience watched in disbelief, convincing themselves that the person adjusting the microphone had some power, possibly casting a spell that turned the host into a statue-like figure. When authorities later investigated, they couldn't find the person who had been adjusting the mic. Shaq statue. Another bizarre sighting appeared, this time during a segment of the Spot Show inside the NBA. For no clear reason, analyst and former basketball player Shaquille O'Neal remained completely still for over a minute. Even his mouth stayed open.
Oladipo, who is the reigning two-time champion.
His fellow hosts didn't seem to notice as they kept talking. Soon after the video went viral, they tried to explain what happened, but by then, people were convinced that the host had zoned out into another dimension. Color shift. A man shared footage of a car in his shop, but this wasn't just any car. Its paint changed colors right before his eyes. No light tricks, no reflections, just a complete shift, as if the car itself was alive.
And it's not just color changing like the previous generation stuff that reflected the light.
The way it worked was never fully explained. Onlookers felt uneasy, like they were looking at something beyond human invention. Could this be a glimpse of what was not meant to be seen? Wave transform. Beachgoers were enjoying the waves when they noticed a bizarre sight. A man was playing in the water when a sudden wave crashed over him. But when the water pulled back, he was no longer the same. The boy they had just seen was now a full-grown man. It made no sense. It was as if the wave had glitched reality itself. Witnesses couldn't shake the feeling that they had just witnessed a portal shifting someone through time. Reptilian eyes. Nicki Minaj, a famous songwriter, was giving an interview when an unusual thing happened. For a brief moment, her eyes changed color. They looked reptilian, sharp, unnatural before returning to normal. The clip spread like wildfire, leaving people questioning what they had just seen. It was speculated about possession, saying a jinn or an unknown force had taken hold of her. It only added to the mystery surrounding her, making her even more famous. Unblinking reporter.
The President met our Queen at Buckingham Palace last year. He rolled up in the...
During Britain's Diamond Jubilee coverage, something felt off. The broadcast seemed ordinary at first, but then all eyes were drawn to one reporter. He wasn't blinking, not once. His stare was fixed, his expression unnaturally still. Viewers watching closely felt uneasy, as if he wasn't entirely human. The way he held himself, the way he spoke, it didn't seem natural. Then, without warning, the broadcast suddenly cut to another segment, as if someone didn't want people watching any longer. Whatever was happening on that screen was never addressed again. Purple Hand.
See you. Very honored to be here.
Yes, my very nice to see you. How are you doing? Very nice to see you.
Something about this viral video didn't sit right. Queen Elizabeth stood smiling, dressed in white, as she welcomed Jordan's royal family to Buckingham Palace. People noticed her hand. It wasn't just a bruise. Her left hand was dark purple, almost bizarre in color. People called it proof of a transformation, a glimpse of her true form, suggesting she might be a reptilian hiding in plain sight. The event carried on as if nothing was wrong. But for those who saw the photo, the question remained: had the Queen's disguise started to slip? Split sky.
A sunny day or a cloudy day?
Locals looked up at the sky and were left speechless. It was divided into two halves. One side glowed with a strange sunset light and scattered clouds, while the other side was completely dark, with no glow at all. It felt like they were witnessing a glimpse of a sky from another world, hidden somewhere up in the clouds. It could be a message from above, but no one knew for sure. It was a sight that left everyone wondering if something extraordinary was at play. Suspended fish.
Why are none of these fish swimming?
Some friends visited a museum and headed to the fish section, stopping at an aquarium. They were shocked to see the fish weren't moving. Suspended mid-swim, their fins didn't even flicker.
They're literally
The water rippled slightly, but the fish remained frozen, as if time had paused for them. They tapped on the glass, waiting for the fish to dart away, but nothing happened.
What's going on? Still.
Fish real?
What is going on?
The same thing was reported by a man at a pet store. Fish locked in eerie stillness, unaffected by movement around them. What could cause this? Maybe time broke, freezing the fish in a loop, or perhaps an unseen power was holding reality itself in place, except for the watchers. Basement Spirit. A ghost expert conducted an experiment in a house basement. He threw a balloon, and to his surprise, something hit it back. He then pointed his hand and said clap, and an unseen force clapped back forcefully. Finally, he stood on the stairs holding a tissue, and a strange invisible force pulled the tissue from the roll. It was clear. The basement was haunted, whether it was a spirit or a djinn. This time, it wasn't just a story. It was caught on camera. Backward walk. Footage shared on social media by a pedestrian showed several people acting strangely. Some were walking backward, their faces blank as if hypnotized. Viewers wondered if they were under the control of some supernatural force. It's said that the people eventually returned to normal, but for those who witnessed the scene, it left them with a shock. What was behind that strange behavior? No one could explain it, but the unsettling sight stayed with them long after. Frozen cat. A local stepped outside one morning and noticed an unusual occurrence. A cat held a water tap, gripping it tightly as water flowed out. What was even stranger was the cat wasn't moving at all. For several seconds, it stayed completely still, like a statue. Then, without warning, it snapped back to life, walking away as if nothing unusual had happened. The locals felt it might be a kind of witchcraft, as cats are often part of such stories. Traffic teleport. A street camera captured a view straight out of a movie, a lonely road with no traffic, and a man crossing. Suddenly, a car appeared out of nowhere heading straight toward him. Just before the car could strike, the man disappeared and reappeared on the other side of the road. The driver thought he had hit him, but when he checked, the man was perfectly fine. How could this be possible? It seemed like the man was either saved by a guardian angel, or maybe it was teleportation. Political transformation.
That I think are very, as I said, respectful of our teachers and is fair to our taxpayers. The issues that remain.
According to a bizarre conspiracy theory, few politicians are actually reptilians in disguise. One example that gained attention was Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel. During a press conference in September 2012, viewers noticed that his eyes seemed to transform into something unnatural.
That I think are very, as I said, respectful of our teachers and is fair to our taxpayers. The issues that remain are minor.
And then there's the video of former Secretary of the Treasury Timothy Geithner, where many believed he was covering up a malfunction. Viewers argued that he was under the control of an entity or even a shapeshifter himself. What do you think? Just a glitch or something far stranger? Magical bird. Expected to see wild animals in the woods, a hunter got much more than he anticipated. Perched high on a branch, a mother bird was feeding her chick, a seemingly ordinary moment in nature. But as the hunter watched closer, something was off. The food in the mother's beak wasn't just being passed down, it was appearing out of thin air. Each time the baby swallowed, another grain materialized, as if caused by some unseen force. The chick too behaved strangely, its tiny head moving with an eerie precision, as though it knew the food would never run out. Mirror butterfly. Everyone has heard of magical mirrors in stories. Well, one house owner saw one for himself. He stood in front of a mirror and noticed a butterfly in the reflection. But when he looked around, there was nothing there. He looked twice, but the butterfly remained, only in the mirror. Was this mirror showing a glimpse into another world, linking two different places? The more he stared, the more it felt like he was seeing something he wasn't supposed to. Deer appearance.
What the?
A person was driving when he spotted two deer on the side of the road, but when he glanced back, a third deer had suddenly appeared out of nowhere. There was no sound, no movement, just a sudden presence.
What the? Hold.
It might have been teleported in an instant, and since deer have been associated with several demonic activities, this all just makes sense. The whole thing felt off. He didn't stop to figure it out and kept driving, but the strange sight stayed in his mind long after he was gone. Roker glitch.
Anyway, there is a lot of memories today.
Al Roker was on a show with other anchors, chatting like normal, until this happened. His face became completely still, almost robotic. No blinking, no movement. The other anchors kept talking, unaware, but people watching noticed right away. It lasted just a moment before he was back to normal.
35 years ago today, Elvis Presley passed away.
It is believed that certain energies or entities can disrupt normal function, making people freeze, as if caught between two dimensions. News reporters, though, mocked the whole thing, but knew that something far more sinister interrupted reality for a brief moment. Basketball teleport. In the middle of a basketball match, an impossible moment left everyone stunned. Draymond Green passed the ball, but instead of seeing it travel, it just appeared in Klay Thompson's right hand. His hand was empty 1 second, and the next, the ball was there. It looked as if time had skipped forward for a brief moment. Could it have been a trick of the cameras, or did something interfere with reality? That day, people were more focused on this strange sight than on who won or lost the game. Glass move. CCTV inside a 167-year-old pub captured a chilling view. Let's have a look. A full glass of beer sat untouched on the counter until it suddenly tipped over on its own. The landlady saw it happen right in front of her, frozen in shock. Others in the pub turned to see the aftermath, tense at what they had just witnessed. An unseen presence could have done it. Given the pub's age, some believed an old spirit might still linger there, making itself known in small, eerie ways. Astronaut collapse.
So I figure I could stand here, standing enough.
At a press conference in Houston on September 22, 2006, astronaut Haida Marie Stefanishin Piper spoke about a UFO encounter in space, but before she could reveal more, she suddenly froze and collapsed.
So I figure I could stand here, standing enough.
The media called it a health issue, but many found it hard to believe. She might have been hypnotized or even under an eerie possession. The way it happened seemed too strange to be just a coincidence. Could she have probably been stopped from saying something she wasn't supposed to? The moment left many unsettled. Floating leaf.
Да, посмотри, волшебство.
Two friends wandering through the woods stopped in their tracks at a strange sight, a single leaf floating in midair. No wind blew, and nothing visible held it up. It seemed levitated by an unseen force. They took out their phones to record, certain they had witnessed something magical.
Прямо посреди дороги. Гарри Поттера вызывали?
Perhaps a spirit was leading them to a hidden place in the forest, but whether it was a treasure or far more sinister, they couldn't be sure. Ghost Rider. A man riding a motorcycle at full speed, sitting sideways on the passenger seat, caught everyone's attention. The real shock was that no one was driving it. He looked completely relaxed, as if this was normal for him. The bike seemed to be controlled by something unseen. Another spooky sighting occurred in Paris. A riderless motorbike cruising down the highway, moving steadily along the divider. Some believed it was a ghostly presence, while others thought it was the result of an accident. Such sightings continue to happen, leaving one thing clear. Few road mysteries are forbidden to be explained. Blinking white cats. A man was out for an evening walk when he spotted a family of white cats resting by the side of the road. At first, he thought they looked cute and harmless, but as he watched, something felt off. Their eyes. 3 of them blinked at the exact same time. Not a second apart, not by chance, but perfectly in sync. That's not how normal cats behave. It's said that witches have used cats as their eyes for centuries, seeing what humans can't. If that was true, then these cats might not have just been watching him, but guarding against an invisible presence. Car tree. A YouTuber recorded a strange video and uploaded it online. It showed a crowd gathered around something on the road. Curious, he went closer, and what he saw didn't make sense. A giant tree, perfectly tall and still, was growing straight out of a car. Not beside it, not under it, but as if the car itself had been its soil since the beginning. Reports suggested that it was a glitch in reality, where 2 moments in time overlapped, merging them into one. It was a silent reminder that reality isn't always what it seems. Time freeze. At the bus station, everyone was busy, walking, talking, waiting, except for one boy. He stood near the bin, completely still, just frozen in place. It wasn't like he was lost in thought. His stillness wasn't natural, more like a paused frame in a video. Rumor has it that he seemed to slip out of time, trapped in a moment where reality itself had slowed, leaving him stuck in a glitch only a few could notice. Moving cup. A couple was enjoying their meal at a restaurant and posted a video online. But what made it viral wasn't the food. It was the cup in the tray, moving on its own. At first, the couple didn't notice, but viewers caught it. Viewers were convinced that an unseen force was at play. Rumors spread fast. People claimed the restaurant was built on a cemetery, and spirits were making their presence known. More visitors reported strange happenings, and soon, the place shut down for good. See Divide. This strange sight has been baffling the online community. The footage shows the drone view of a beach, and the only strange thing is that there is no beach. The muddy waves were splashing in from the left side, while the water looked calm on the right. The beachgoers themselves looked hesitant at first, but then they just got along with the waves. However, the entire scene was a bit of a shocker for the online spectators who called it a mirror world moment. And now, let us move on towards our subscribers' pick of the day. A man stepped onto the bus scanning for a seat. That's when he noticed them. 3 girls sitting in a row, all with blonde hair, black jackets, and the same posture. He couldn't see their faces, but from the back, it was clear something wasn't right. Maybe one was real, and the other 2 were shapeshifters. It felt as if they didn't belong there, like echoes of the same person, stuck in a loop. He hurried to a seat far from them, trying not to stare, but the uneasy feeling stayed with him, like if he looked too closely, he might see something he wasn't meant to.